Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the all-new Lincoln Corsair. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with this Corsair. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the Corsair is a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 21 around town and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 250 horsepower and then 275 pound-feet of torque. Now before we go over the front end, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So first off, taking a look at the hood, you guys can see how it's like flat in the center and then it kind of dips off on either side. It's simplistic and it looks good. And then coming down below, look at the daytime running light, and then you guys can see here where the turn signal would go. Also, that's on all the time too, which looks pretty cool. And then look at this new grille. This is pretty dang intricate. You guys can see the Lincoln logo there and the cent, and then you got like silver trim here at the bottom as well. And putting it all together, to the untrained eye, this isn't going to look all that different from the previous Corsair, but I do think it is a nice upgrade. So come around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 225, 55, 19 in the front and over in the rear as well. And you guys can see with the wheel design, you got the silver on the top, the metallic gray below that, and I think it's pretty sharp looking overall. Now I've got unpainted fender flares here, and you can see that trim continues all along the side, and then you've got some kind of like silver-ish trim right there. Corsair badge here on the side. Notice the mirror cap has been blacked out, and then you've got the chrome trim around the windows, and then also for the roof rails as well. Putting it all together, the side profile looks really good. The one thing that I will say is I think it would be best if the fender flares and all of the trim at the bottom was body painted. I think that would just look better with the overall aesthetic of this car. And being a luxury car, I think that makes sense. So here's our key fob. We have our unlock function or lock function, remote start, the opening for the hatch, and then the Lincoln logo there on the back. And we'll press this a couple times and it'll pop right open. Now popping into the cargo area, you guys can see it's actually quite spacious, and on top of that we also have a 12 volt here in the back, and if we actually move these a little bit forward, we've got a spare tire underneath as well. And so yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty solid. When you're all done though, just press this button up here and that will lower the hatch right back down. Now the taillights look pretty snazzy here on the Corsair. You guys can see you've got like the light bar effect just like other Lincoln models. You got the Lincoln badge there in the center. No model badges though on the back because it makes the design look a little bit cleaner instead of having like a bunch of badges. But I know it's parking sensors there at the bottom, and you got the 2 exhaust tips there on either side. So capping things off, let me know what you guys think about the design. And what I'd say is, just like the Navigator, this is more of a refresh on the design rather than a full redesign, which is fine because I do think it's a really good looking vehicle. And now taking a look at the door panel here, you guys can see with the stitching, and then look how it's all like blacked out. I think that looks pretty cool. And then we've got our window control here, some piano black trim, and then I like to look at the handle. And then this trim right here, it's got like an interesting texture on it, that's for sure. Yes, this has red seats. You can see perforated all down the center, and then we do have our adjustment stuff on the side. And so it's kind of interesting to see like the 2 reds next to each other. That is unique. Now legroom here in the back is actually really good. We've got a little storage net. We also have some vents here in the back, some USB action, and notice how this seats forward. You can actually slide the seats forwards and backwards, which I think is pretty cool. And we have the armrest that's kind of in the shape of Utah, which is funny. We've got some cup holder action inside of that, and then last but not least, yeah, headroom's good back here. Now taking a look at the front door panel here, you guys can see again with all of the padding and then the stitching that goes across. We've got all of our window controls here with our mirror adjustments. The mirrors do power fold in. Got your door lock and unlock, and then you guys can see the memory seat function as well as the seat adjustment. And then it looks like that is just for the lumbar support, which is cool. And then we do have blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then here's the front seat. Look at the stitching. Then notice how it's perforated all down the center portion there. And again, you've got all of the red. And then down below, pretty normal looking pedals. Got the double pull here for the hood release, and then Lincoln logo right there. And then we've got all the light controls here, and the steering wheel is manually adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, really nice trim all around, and I'm guessing that this insert is right here because they might have like wood trim on different packages. It's just my assumption. It's kind of interesting how it's like all cut up. But anyways, you do have paddle shifters on the back for the 8-speed automatic, and then you can see here we've got these controls on the face. If you press the little pages button here, it changes stuff there in the center, but if you also go into each of these menus, notice how it actually changes the face of the control, which is pretty cool. And then if you press the cruise control button, it illuminates all of the cruise controls. So we do have adaptive there, and then you've got like your volume controls on the other side. So that's a pretty cool thing with the steering wheel. Turn signal stock here, and then we got our windshield wiper stock on the other side. So we've got this full digital gauge cluster. Sorry about the glare, it's just the time of day that it is, but I think it looks really good. And notice we can go like column screen, then you can see a bunch of different bits of info there on the side. I love how it shows you the power distribution. I think that's pretty cool. Now we do have the drive mode select that you can go through with the different drive modes. Notice we even have like an excite mode as well, which is pretty cool. And it actually kind of like changes the gauge cluster a little bit depending on the drive mode that you go into. And something that I've learned is that you can twist the dial to change the drive modes, but then once you find a drive mode, just click the dial in, and then boom, it instantly pulls up with that particular drive mode. Now in reverse, we have a regular backup camera here with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel, and overall resolution is really good. You also got the zoom function, and then you can change kind of like the little viewpoint right there. And then if we pop into park and go over the rest of the infotainment system, this is new. It looks really cool. So that's for the seats. You've got heated seats here, and here I'll zoom in so you can see climate controls as well. And you know, overall response time with the screen's really solid, actually. Super easy to use. I mean, look at that. It does have some plastic on it, so just kind of understand that it's not going to pick up my finger as well as it normally would. As you can adjust the lumbar from here. There's obviously not a lot of stuff with the seats because this is more of like an quote-unquote entry-level Lincoln, but you still get stuff like the ambient lighting, which is pretty fun. We're going to do red because we got a red interior and we got a red exterior, so we got to match with the ambient lighting as well. And then down below, look at the vents, and then look at the trim on the dash, just like the more expensive Lincolns like the Navigator, and then you guys can see it's got like the recessed appearance, and then the top of the dash is all soft touch. But yeah, I think this looks very, very good. Now the stop start button's kind of hidden there. It did take me a second to find it, but then you also have the button gear selector right next to it, so like you just press little buttons to do everything. And then you got your analog volume control down below. This is for your parking assist. You've got your camera button to turn that on, and then you guys can see auto stop start, turn that on or off, stability control, and that's just for your defroster. Got the Lincoln logo right there, but this is a cool trim piece that it's all on. Now this is pretty interesting. So we've got this little storage space with some USB 12-volt action, and then look at this, just click it and it pops back in place for you. Here's that drive mode select I was telling you about earlier, so like you can twist for the drive mode and then you press it in to like select it if you want it to go faster, I suppose. Got some cup holders here, parking brake, and then we have the center console, just good storage space. And then look at like the padding and stitching and everything on top. And then we've got the glove box here lined with felt as well. Now up top we do have a sunglass holder here, and then we've got like your little lights where you just tap it with your finger. Pretty fancy. No sunroof on this particular one. Now the sound when you turn this off is pretty interesting. Just listen. It just keeps going and then it stops. And then obviously you've got the sound when you turn it on. It's interesting. So there's a lot of glare, so it's gonna be hard to see the window sticker, but anyways, this is a 2023 Corsair. Equipment group with this is 200A for those of you that are wondering. And it doesn't really have a whole lot of options added to it other than the paint color. So basically it's just a 200A with this particular paint color, and I guess it has like an audio delete for some reason. Base MSRP is $45,375. Total MSRP is $47,070. So I want you guys to let me know what you think about the Corsair. This particular one, I can't drive it. Once they get more in, then I'll be able to do a full review for those of you that want to see what the driving is like. But I imagine, and again, I haven't driven it yet, so I can't like fully comment on this, but I imagine it's going to drive pretty similar to an Escape with the 2.0 turbo, because I mean, although obviously the folks over at Lincoln upgrade a lot of stuff with this, ultimately it's on the same platform, and so it's going to have a lot of similar driving characteristics, but I'm sure that there's going to be some benefits with the suspension with this compared to the Escape when it comes to comfort and all that, because again, Lincoln's got that focus on luxury. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about the new Corsair. Do you think that this is worth, you know, going for the upgrade compared to the, you know, previous model? I definitely think the interior is a big upgrade. Exterior styling obviously pretty similar, but yeah, let me know what you think.